So good morning. I'm working on the Firebird today, and what I'm doing is I'm working on getting the firewall patch panel mocked up. So let me bring you up to date. So we've got the rocker extension welded in. You saw that in the last video. If you haven't, go back and watch it, because you have to combine all of these little videos to get your strong front end completely redone. And each video is actually showing you how to take the next step. So I could do one video where I just go blip and it's installed, and then but you don't really understand, you know, what's involved with making this corner strong. So each piece has to be strong in itself in order to make one strong piece. Now that's the concept of the unibody, right? Okay, everybody gets that. You have a, well, most everybody, you have a conglomeration of parts that are put together to make your strong car. Okay, so the CUDA over here, same thing, done a little differently. The Firebird and the Camaro and all those cars that have that unibody construction, they all take parts put together, and how they're put together is how strong your car is. So let's take this car for instance. When I took it apart, you have spot welds every 2 to 3 inches, right? And they lasted a long time. This car is 57 years old this year, and it's still alive. Look, it doesn't look alive because it's being redone, but it's there so I can redo it and make a new car. So when I'm done with this car will be stronger than it was from factory, because I'm not doing a spot weld every 3 inches and sometimes less. You know, this car is put together with a lot more welds than it was from the factory. So am I better than a factory? No, I'm not. But I'm doing it my way, and I'm putting my touch. And as my dad used to say, I've got a can-do attitude, and that was his motto, is to do can-do. And so I'm doing it myself. Have I ever done one before? Nope. I mean, I've built cars, I've fixed cars my whole life, but I've never done structural integrity things to a car like this. So you ask, how do I do this? What makes me qualified to do this? Well, it's my car, okay? So if something goes wrong with it, it's my car. If I do it wrong, my car. However, I have found some really strong references that I've been using that I really believe in. Vinyl Village Garage, John, he does amazing work, and he rebuilds these. And he says he makes them good or better. And he does. Louis at First Generation Garage, same. I learned something from both of those guys. Those guys, they do really good work, and they've got the cars to prove it. So I'm using their methods. I'm using their measurements. I'm using their concepts and ideas to build my own car. Is my car exactly like their car? No, it's not. And that was the hard thing for me to look at is, hey, my car doesn't have the same dimension that their car does. Well, guess what? These are built in a factory of not an exacting science. And you have to take that into account. So how do you do that? Measure. You measure your car before you take it apart. And then you make sure you write all those measurements down. Now you have to get it level and everything just like they do, you know. I went out and bought a 7-foot level over here like Jonathan suggested, so that you can measure a great distance across these cars and be very accurate. I checked the floor to make sure the floor is perfect. And believe it, you know, I moved into this shop specifically because it had nice straight brand new floors. And it makes it so much easier because the car, I can determine if it's square. I mean, it's like from this side to this side, it's perfect. I mean, it's exactly the same as the floor, and the floor is perfect. So, you know, that makes a big difference. But, you know, I was getting back on the car side. So checking my car dimensions is imperative to put my car back how my car was. And that's really important. And that's the main concept that John and Louie are bringing up, is that, you know, you have to measure, and then test fit. And I get that there's also, and I'm going to bring this up, and this is not the Firebird world, but this is the CUDA world. I've watched Chris Junkerup and also Resto mods, and they do a spectacular job on the Mopars. So I have to watch that world too to find out how they do it, because my son's 73 CUDA is going to be an amazing car, and it's another great project that we're working on. But it has its own way of doing things that are a little different. I mean, the concepts, some of them are the same, but the measurements and the panels and everything's a whole different world. So I'm trying to stay up on that world and this world. But today, let's get back on the Firebird. So this is the first section of this video, and I really want you guys to understand that you can do this yourself. Get out there, investigate, and build these cars. Don't throw them away. I think that's really important. What I want you to understand is you don't need to start out with a perfect car, okay? Buy the best you can, but understand when you get into it, a lot of you guys are going to do the same thing I'm doing if you're true to your project. Now, you can put lipstick on a pig and make it look good and enjoy it, and that's fine if that's your thing. But if you want to build a quality car, you're going to end up replacing floors. You're going to end up replacing the inner fender wells, rocker panels. You know, sometimes roof. Sometimes you're going to be fixing these roof channels. Sometimes you're going to be, you know, just getting in there and doing a trunk pan. You know, sometimes you're doing all of it. Like this car, this CUDA right here. This CUDA, there was nothing left of it. So taking dimensions and stuff from material that's gone, you know, this car started out as a $500 car. My son and I picked it up in Detroit and then drove it up to our storage unit where we stored it up at Higgins Lake for 7 years. And all the way up that highway, parts fell off it. Rust fell out of it. It was completely gone. Okay, did we have a shell and basic? Yes. But could I measure the parts to say, okay, it's supposed to be this? A lot of times, no. I was able to do the rockers, thank God. The driver's side rocker was really bad, but the passenger side, so I got my start points and the distance to my jams and everything, so that I knew that I could put this car back together. But this car was gone. I mean, there's no floor. There was basically inner fender wells were completely gone. You know, the number of panels that we're going to be able to use on this car would be under 20 panels. And in a unibody, that's not a lot. You know, we've just bought parts from Autometal Direct, and we've got 2 orders in, and I think we're close to $8,000 in parts on this car right now, in just Autometal Direct. And we have not bought our fenders. We have not bought our quarters. You know, so we're going to need a couple door skins because our doors are, this one is not too bad. I think I can save this one. But the other door is completely smashed. So, and it's rotted out in the bottom. So that's got to be fixed. But my door shell is in good shape. So we ended up, we bought some doors down in, not Lexington, Columbus. Yeah, Columbus. We bought that whole roof over there. Let's see if you can see it. It is right there against the wall. So that whole roof, we bought doors, bought fenders. We bought a bunch of panels that were not, you know, like the doors got all the glass and the cranks and the regulators, everything is in those doors that we need for our doors because it didn't have them. We bought complete interior up there from a guy over in by Portland area, Portland, Michigan. You know, that right there was a huge savings. But, you know, we just didn't have them. So anyways, getting back to what I'm getting at here is that these cars can be rebuilt. You can do them yourself and have them turn out really awesome. You just got to take your time, do your measurements, mock everything up. And by mocking it up, I mean measure the way it was, take it apart, put the new one in, measure it, put your other parts together, combine them in. Don't weld it together till you know you're exactly where you got to be. And you can do it. It takes time, it takes effort, but you know, all good things do. But these cars can be put back on the road. And that's what we're doing. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I hope you see what we're doing and realize that we're doing it out of the love of the cars. Am I a professional body shop? I'm not. I'm a do-it-yourselfer. This is my car. It's turning out how I want it to.